Hi there, and welcome to part three of the three things that I had to learn to heal. This series webinar was very important for me to share with you for multiple reasons. I suffered with chronic pain for a very long time and could not figure out how to get to a different space. There were days that I said things like, I'm so over this, so over all of this. I just wanted it all to end. I didn't want to feel the discomfort anymore. I was over the pain. I had been struggling and suffering with ailments. The first time I remember feeling severe pain, I was probably 12 years old. I had a bicycle accident. In high school, I was in a car accident, and it just trickled down from there. I started having seizures and passing out in my senior year. I was 17 years old. Traumatic head injuries, and it just went on and on and on. And the more I had pain and the more these things continued, the further I got into this hole, it felt like. And so I would wake up in the morning and my body would hurt. And I would say things like, I'm so over this and I don't want to feel this anymore. And I just want to be done with this situation. I just want to be done with this pain. I was so tired of feeling that way. I would say things like that. Every time I said that, my body heard that language. Our words are so important. So the last couple weeks, I talked about a couple other topics, but they led into this one. And this last part for me is getting really, really, really curious, being open to explore something I've never looked at before, to question things in a different way. And so I was led to an amazing book and an amazing program called The Punchline. And these 5 simple steps were taught to me years ago. But as I began to integrate them with the work that was already available out there, so there were these amazing teachers doing this awesome work and these programs all over the world. And I was taking each course and I was doing each group and I was going all the way through with the book studies and the workbooks and the, oh my gosh, the Zoom calls and the group calls and all the things. And I was studying and trying, and I'd go to this program and I'd get a little bit out of it, but I never got to a good space. I never got like to where I felt satisfied with it, where I was excited to have experienced that part, right? So I got a little information, and then I'd go to this group and I'd learn this information and I'd do this stuff, and I'd get some help, and I'd learn some new things, and I'd have knowledge, like tons of knowledge, right? The books and the words and the understanding was there. But how to do it, how to practically use this information to bring me to a different space, to where I could actually heal, to where I could actually get a different result, to where I could actually change or create a different reality for myself. That's what was missing in so much of what I was learning. And so when I came across this information, I had to really surrender and get curious and give myself a lot of grace and compassion for knowing what I knew up to that point, which was excellent information. But I couldn't use it. I couldn't embody it. I wasn't living it. Does that make sense? Like I had the paper, I had the information here, and I could use the tools, but I wasn't getting all the way to the end result, which is what they were selling, which is what everybody was telling me was available. So there were steps missing in the middle. And what I learned was there's so many things, there's so much information. And a lot of this stuff feels like conflicting information for us. And a lot of this stuff feels like that's too good to be true. And a lot of this stuff didn't work for me. And I'd see it work for other people. Then I'd get really frustrated and jealous. And I just wanted to feel different. And there was this need to figure it out, this need to understand, this need to know how. And that was my worst enemy. That kept me in a spin for so long. That I need to know how was actually keeping me from healing. So I had to start really getting curious about what was going on. What did I really need? What did my body really want? And I had to look at things like the brain can't solve the brain's problems. So I was trying to think my way out of things. I was trying to problem solve my way out of things. I was, reading the books, and I was like doing these steps, and I was like, oh, if I just do this next step, it'll be this great thing. But it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening right there. With the punchline, I was able to take all of this great work, all of these magnificent tools, all of this information that these amazing, brilliant people had studied and undone and figured out. And I was able to integrate it into my daily life, where I could use it in my favor, where I could use it to grow, to heal, to transition. So the punchline has 5 very simple steps. My mentor wrote this book personally. I still work with her one-on-one. I've been working with her for years because it's so good. We just keep healing stuff. We keep getting to the next level with things. I have not read any book like this before in my life. And when I read it at first, I didn't understand a word of it. And I just kept saying like, yeah, it's great. But I didn't really know how to use it either. But we did a practical integration. So we learned how to use this in our daily life in presence. So we viscerally began to walk this information. The punchline steps are presence, which is just getting into my body, getting out of the spinning thoughts, the drama in my head, the confusion, right? Separating from the external environment and dropping into the body. Now, I know we've talked about this for a long time, getting into the body and out of the thoughts. And everybody says this as if it's a really easy task to do. I would say this is a pretty difficult thing to learn. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes consistency. Just like a muscle being built, it's a memory, it's a muscle memory. And so we have to keep coming back to it over and over and over again. But presence could be something like journaling or tapping or moving the body. It could be walking. It could be singing. For me, every morning I walk into the kitchen and I grab an orange. I love oranges. Oranges are great for my mental health as well as my body. Citrus fruit in general is uplifting, and it's emotionally uplifting. And so I peel my fruit over the sink, and I peel a little orange, and I open it up. And as I'm opening it up, I think about all the people that planted this seed and tilled this land, and who put it, who cared for it as it was growing, and who picked it, and who put it into some kind of container to bring it to a market, to sell it to me. And I think about all the people that went through this for me to have this one little orange right here in this moment. And I am so grateful in presence in that moment for that. It's such a big deal. So much work went into me being able to have this. And so I'm present with that. It's so exciting to me. It's such a big deal. So I get in my body first. That's presence, right? Then we unpack. The next part, the PU, Okay, punchline. I'm going to go through the whole thing. The U is unveiling. So we're unwrapping, we're unveiling, we're dismantling whatever the confusion is, whatever the story is. Hey, wait a minute, what's happening here? Wait, why is that? Why do I think that's a problem? Why is this true? Is this real? Does it just feel like something else? What's really going on? As I'm unraveling this information, then I can get to clarity, right? And now I have a choice. I get to navigate. That's your N, P-U-N. Now I'm going to navigate. What am I going to do with this? Did this work this way? Do I need to try something different, right? And when we talk about navigating, it could be, I'm going to give you an example for myself from my own chronic pain stories. I used to go straight to a bottle of medication. I would go straight to my heating pad. I would go straight to my cozy blanket, my weighted blanket, whatever brought me comfort, okay? Because I needed to feel safe in my body. I needed to get comfortable and I needed to rest. And I thought that laying down was going to help me rest. I thought that getting quiet and calm in my body was going to help heal me. And so I would grab the salon patch and I would what were all the things I had? doTERRA oils everywhere. I had deep blue everywhere. I had pain medication. I had salves, braces, right? Whatever tool I needed. And I'd go somewhere quiet and I would lay down and then I would turn on Netflix and then I would maybe scroll Facebook for a few minutes. That wasn't resting. What my body needed was to move this pain, this information, this story that was getting trapped in my tissue, right? So I started navigating differently. So when I started having pain, instead of going to lay down, I would get into my body and I'd say, what do you want, body? Body, you want to lay down? I hear you. I hear you. If we lay down, what does that look like? And I kind of played it out in my brain for a moment. And I'd give myself permission to really explore and get curious, right? Investigate, play, childlike curiosity. Well, if I go lay down, I'm gonna watch Netflix. I know myself, I'm so predictable. Humans are so predictable. What is your pattern? You know it, right? So ask yourself, what do you normally do when you feel bad? What is your go-to, right? How do you respond? How do you react in your body, in your life? Do you reach for the tool, the pain medicine, the heating pad, the ice pack, whatever you can do for comfort? Or do you push through it and act like it doesn't exist? Or do you actually know how to care for yourself in a manner that brings physical and emotional healing? These are all different things. I was not caring for myself the way I needed to. I was either pushing through the pain by slapping on an ankle brace or a knee brace or a hand brace or whatever brace I needed, getting the medication in my body and going off to work and living life. And usually struggling throughout the day and having a lot of resentment and irritation. Or I could take care of myself, or I could go try to rest, right? Throw my air quotes because that wasn't really rest. What healed me was navigating differently, taking a different action to get a different result. Because as long as I was taking the same actions as before, I was going to keep creating those same results. Because humans are predictable and we do the same thing in a pattern. And that pattern creates imprints in our nervous system and who we are. And those imprints are like an emotional signature. And so when things happen, that emotional signature is triggered, and that part of us is what comes up and remembers the story, remembers the pain, remembers that road that it's driven so many times, okay? And so that road is very predictable. So we need to take a different road. So this is where we navigate differently. The next step is the C step, which is one of my favorites. And I just finished a course on this and it's absolutely fabulous. And creating, it's choose the vision. What do I want? I wanted to be healed. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted my body to feel flexible and pain-free and know that even if I felt pain, it didn't have to take me out and that the world wasn't going to end and that it was safe to be in my body. And I didn't know how to send signals of safety when I didn't believe I was safe. Saying an affirmation that you don't actually believe will not actually create a result for you. So I couldn't say I'm safe in my body. I feel so amazing. Life is great. I didn't really believe that. So I had to use the create step here. And it was a game changer for me. And so I chose the vision. I want to heal. I committed to it. Nothing else gets my attention. I'm all in with this. I removed myself from everything that was not in alignment with healing. Movies, emails, people, Facebook groups. If it was a support group and they were supporting the pain, I got out. I went to groups where people were looking at how to heal instead. I removed myself from everything that was not contributing to my growth. Choose the vision. Commit to it as if nothing else matters. It is the only thing on the docket today. That's it. For the next year, whatever. It's just it. Just commit. Choose the vision. Commit. Cultivate. You have to cultivate it as if it has already happened. So who would I be if I were pain-free? What would I do? I pictured myself doing cartwheels on the beach. I pictured myself doing yoga at a studio. I saw myself doing handstands and headstands. Mind you, I've never done a handstand in my life. I've never done a headstand in my life. That was never something I could do, even as a teacher, even as a dancer, even as a dance teacher, okay? This was something that I didn't have access to, even when I was younger and had more of that. Flexibility and freedom and things like that in my body. I still couldn't do certain things because my body wasn't strong enough to do it. My core strength couldn't handle it. And I didn't have the balance. And so I started seeing myself healed. I started seeing myself out in the world. I started seeing myself moving, meeting people, traveling, doing things that I really wanted to do. So instead of getting envious that I couldn't do it, I started seeing myself in my own mind living that life out there. And it started getting really clear as it got closer to me. And then I got continued coaching and support with my mentor. So that was the C steps. And I loved those C steps. And then the final step is the how. So PUNCH, right? The how. The how is in the now. The how will always be in presence. It's how you show up right now that's going to create what you want moving forward. It's how you show up right now that brings in that next opportunity to you. And so am I open? Am I willing? That's really hard when you've been trying all this stuff and you keep getting shut down or you can't get to that next level. It's really hard. It's completely valid. So the how is what everybody gets caught up on. It's right now, right here, in this moment. because the past is gone. But those stories and those memories are in the body. And if we can separate them without the emotional charge, if we can pull them apart and use them as wisdom, then we can grow and move forward. We can elevate. We can come here, right? But if we use everything with the emotional charge still attached to it, it's so heavy. It's so strong. It's so powerful. I used to believe that my body was old and I was falling apart and I was broken. And I created that in my body. My thoughts became the body that I was living in. And every time I felt pain and I thought my body was broken or something was wrong with me, I was reinforcing that truth in my own body. And my body says, okay, I'll show you more. I'll give you more of that. And it was so uncomfortable to believe that I was hurting myself. And I want to share with you that this is not a conscious thing that we do. No one is out there just hurting their own bodies. No one is out there trying to stir up trouble and drama in themselves. No one enjoys their depression or their anxiety. No one that I've met, anyways. But it's what happens inside of our nervous system. And this pain can be rewired. It can be changed. It can be shifted, and it can be stopped completely. And when and if it triggers in the future, which sometimes it does, you have the tools to go back and help bring yourself back to a neutral space and dissipate the pain in short periods of time. It's so insanely amazing how this works. The problem is that we get in our own way because we have a brain that's been programmed with conditional information. We grew up in a home where things were a certain way. We grew up in an environment where things were a certain way. You went to a certain school where certain teachers did things. Certain children behaved a certain way. You had an environmental structure. That is not the same for all humans. So the way one person learns and the way another person learns is going to be completely different. Words that matter to one person are not going to matter to another. Status that matters to somebody cannot matter to somebody else. This is how we're all individual. But we've been given these cookie cutter programs that are just like, just follow A, B, C, D and get to the result. And that's not how it works. Healing is a wave. It's up and down. It's in and out. It's messy. I call it a dance. We dip over here. We two-step this way. We sway over here. We slide. We do all these dance moves. We might cha-cha over here. We might run. We're always moving, dancing in and out of this information. And so it's not just this one road that we drive. It's layers. And it starts with undoing the way that our mind thinks things are supposed to be. The shoulds, the should nots. I say shove them all in a sack and send them in a river, because shoulds will be the death of you. I should have done that different. I shouldn't have done that. It's supposed to. It's all lies. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Otherwise, you would be somewhere completely different. Nothing is wrong for us. But we can figure out how to create what we want in a different way. And these 5 simple steps are, without a doubt, the game changer that helped me get to a place in my body where I was able to heal not only the past pain that I was suffering with, reverse the need for surgeries, put away glasses, get off all medications, but feel amazing and flexible and free in my body now. I have come so far in this journey of healing, not only with myself, but with other people as well now. My clients are doing amazing things. I just watched one post that for years she couldn't even get in a car and drive anywhere. Her anxiety was so bad. She had severe trauma. There was a very bad ordeal with her neck, and it literally paralyzed her with fear to go anywhere. Besides the physical pain, the mental and emotional pain was exhausting. She is now on a solo trip, traveling, doing her own thing for the first time ever. I have clients that have stopped pain, reversed the need for surgeries, called off their neurologist. I'm not saying this as an advice to do these things. I'm saying it as a possibility of what happens when you do this work. Healing is a choice, and it is available for all people. And I'm not saying that to be mean or rude or ugly, but it is available. And if you are stuck in your journey and you cannot figure out what to do because you think you've done all the things, this is where I come in. I am the person that helps people when they can't figure out what else to do. I am the person that you go to when you've tried all the things and you've exhausted all the options and you haven't got the results you want. When you're ready to heal, I can help you. I am the integrative mind body coach, and I teach people to heal using this integrative approach. And they can take all the tools and information that they've already had, already used, already know. We're not throwing any of that away. It's not waste. You take all that knowledge and you come in with me, and I help you in real time rewire neural networks so that this information that's traveling from the brain to the body, saying that it's just this way, can stop, shift, and get a different result. We use the steps of the punchline. That's the integrative approach. And these steps are very simple and they're complex at the same time. But that's the beauty of having me in your back pocket. Me, who was trained by the author of the book, who has worked with her firsthand, one-on-one for the last several years, and will continue to work with her. This information is too good not to share. I invite you into my world. Follow me on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get on the email list. We're going to be doing some amazing things moving forward. We've got a great group of coaches coming together, and we are bringing some good topics. We have a community that will welcome you with open arms. We have a completely complimentary community if you want to come into that. It is no charge to you. And we have communities that are very affordable, all the way up to working one-on-one with us. If this sounds like something you would want to do, just let me know. I'm going to put all the links down here in the bottom of this video whenever I go to post it. I'm going to have some application links. I'm going to have my internet, everything clicked up together. It's going to be an application link. I'll put in my schedule link. I'm just going to put some links at the bottom. I'm going to decide whenever I close this out what I'm going to put on there. I don't want to get in all that right now. But if this sounds familiar, that you've been struggling, You've tried all the things. You feel like your body's falling apart. You don't know what else to do. You're stuck in the how. This is where I come in. And so I can take you and help redirect in a very different way, a way that you have never tried before. And I know this because my mentor invented the process. And so it's not something that a lot of people are doing yet. But we're ready to share this work. And so if you feel led to connect, I'm going to leave all the information below here. I want to just allow anyone that is here live to ask any questions. If you have anything that you want to ask, you could feel free to put it in the chats real quick. If you have anything that you want to ask me specifically, I'm happy to answer right now on this call. I'm going to check my other option to see if anybody else asked this way, and we will pick up from there. So 1 second. Yeah, the neural networks and how the body, yep. So I had somebody ask about the neural networks and the body holding the story. What does that mean? Every time we have a situation or a moment where something occurs, our body feels it, our body remembers it, right? Every time there was an event in our past where we didn't necessarily process completely the information that we were given, maybe we were left with something open, right? Not closure, not settled. Then later on in life, something happens that feels like that. The body is triggered with this information. And so the body remembers. The brain doesn't necessarily remember. This is what's crazy about the nervous system. The body remembers, the brain may not. And so the body reacts a certain way. It feels something. Then we don't like the feeling and we want to get rid of the feeling, right? And so we push it away, we take medicine, we do whatever to get rid of it. We don't want to do it. But we do that differently. So the information now has created a imprint, and that imprint is now like the GPS, the road, okay? It's going this same direction over and over and over again. That's the neural network, okay? The neural pathway. We're driving this, it's going. And it's so used to going that way and just firing and firing and firing that it's just a habit. And so we have to break a habit. And we have to change the neural network. And we have to create another one. But the problem is that there's only so much glue that hold these neural networks together. So let's say, I'm just going to, for the sake of numbers, we got five roads, right? And so there's five, A to B's. There's five beginnings and ends of the road. And they only go this way. They're right here. But I want to go this way. So we pause, unpack why we can't go these ways anymore, and we navigate differently. And we create new ones here, right? That's the short version. I'm going to wrap this up. I am Moniquederouen. I am the Integrative Mind-Body Coach. I was trained by Kim Guillory in More Than Mindset and Integrative Coaching. I am going to add some links down to the bottom of all of this. If anything I said resonates with you today and you would like to learn more, whether it is learning to heal your physical pain or whatever else you have going on, let's have a conversation. Because if it's not me that can help you, I bet I can find somebody that could. We've got a great group of coaches doing this work. And if it's not me, I'm happy to refer you to somebody else in there that can help you. And so I just encourage you to follow us in More Than Mindset, maybe jump into the podcast, listen to some of those, and just see how this sits with you. It's going to be a completely different approach. You have to get super curious. You have to be ready to investigate. You have to be really open and willing to explore. Is it possible? What's out there? Because we only know what we know, and we only know what we've been exposed to. And it's really easy to get exposed to big, huge things going on. And some of this other stuff just kind of falls away in the background. But there are people doing big things with this work. And I know a bunch of them. And if you want to come into our world and enjoy some self-healing, we've got a space for you. It was so great to spend this time with you today. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I'll see you soon. Bye.